Well, tensions rising in Great Falls with residents and businesses concerned over the growing homeless population. Right now, the First United Methodist Church is allowing people experiencing homelessness to stay on their property. And our Joey Taylor is in Great Falls after talking with commissioners, the church, and even one man who stays on church property.
Last night at the City Commission meeting, citizens lined up and spoke about this issue for over 30 minutes. Now, some people are supporting First United Methodist Church of Great Falls. Others are against it, saying they're enabling drug and alcohol addictions.
The situation down there isn't helping anybody. It's not helping the people he's purporting to help. It's just enabling.
This homeless encampment is a living nightmare.
Neighbors to the encampment, myself, women that I know personally who could not attend, have asked me to share that they no longer feel safe walking with their children to the Perkins restaurant or to the library or any place which passes near the encamped.
There is anywhere from 6 to 30 people staying on church property every night.
I don't feel threatened, and those are people that I care about a lot.
The rate of homelessness in Montana has been increasing for years, and Reverend Jeff Wakely says they are simply responding to the need.
So we're trying to do our best to minister, to be the church, to minister to the people in need.
This is Jeff and George. Jeff sat down with me earlier today to share his story. He's been on the streets for about 3 years now and understands why people think the way they do.
I know why we get a bad name, because they're dirty. They don't clean after themselves. They catcall people. They're walking around waving bottles of booze. But there's not all of us are like that. So there's a bunch of us that are truly homeless, and we're trying to get our feet back on the ground, but we don't have the resources to do it, like me and George.
Right now, Tryon tells me there are 2 things the city can do. First, enforce public nuisance laws by fining the church. Second, they can appropriate money to help if somebody brings them a plan.
I think we're already, in the process of looking at what it would look like to enforce the public nuisance ordinances, and we've already got sort of started down that road here.
We are the church, okay, and we are going to continue to do what we can. But we're going to do it better.
Community leaders are continuing conversations to talk more about a homeless task force and seeing what they can do to come up with both short-term and more permanent solutions. In Great Falls, I'm Joey Taylor, Montana Right Now.
Heated conversation between the Great Falls community, business owners, and the city after a local church opens up its property to the downtown homeless population. Now, this is a topic our Joey Taylor has been covering for months now, and today she was able to sit down with the Great Falls Police Department for their perspective. Joey?
One thing the church has been communicating with people is if you see something happen, call the police. Well, GFPD tells me when someone calls to report something, they either are gone when they get there or they don't want to go on the record.
If we don't have a name or a witness, then we don't really have somebody who observed the crime. And if we don't have somebody who observed the crime, it's kind of hard to say that we have a crime that took place.
Smith tells me even though this group is homeless, they're still people, and as the downtown officer, he'll check on them to make sure they're okay and talk to them about what resources are available. But if they break the law, he will still hold them accountable and issue citations. Smith tells me if you see a crime and want it handled appropriately, you need to leave your name and contact information with GFPD so they can investigate it. In Great Falls, I'm Joey Taylor, Montana Right Now.
And now the city is filing a lawsuit against the church. When you look at the church property, you can see tents and campers, which the city says is a violation of the city's zoning code, and they let the church know that earlier this month. The city said in a press release that the church did not respond to that notice by removing those tents and camping arrangements as directed. So the city has now filed a lawsuit in district court to enforce its zoning requirements.
The rate of homelessness in Montana has been increasing for years, and in Great Falls, the community is at odds over what to do as one church is allowing homeless people to stay on their property. Joey Taylor has been following the situation for months and is in Great Falls after talking with one man living on the church's property.
When I first spoke with Pastor Jeff Wakely months ago about opening up the church property to the homeless community, he said they just wanted to help. Now with a lawsuit pending, these people are speaking out saying there's really no place else for them to go.
The homeless situation is not going to go away. It's only going to get worse.
The 2021 annual homeless assessment report says over 1,000 people in Montana experienced sheltered homelessness, meaning they stayed in emergency shelters, transitional housing programs, or safe havens. And that doesn't include those living on the streets.
Every day it gets worse. There's more people losing their homes.
According to the National Low Income Housing Coalition, in Montana there is a shortage of affordable housing, and that's just one reason why so many people are on the church's property.
I'm not able to afford the rent. I mean, there's services around that'll help me get into a place, but then I have to be able to maintain it, and I don't make enough to maintain it. You have to make 3 times what your rent is for them to rent to you. Okay, well, if the rent for a studio apartment is $750 a month, that's my check. You know, I mean, that's my monthly income right there.
Quick is one of several people who have made this church home. He says without the option to stay at the First United Methodist Church, things will look a lot worse in town.
If something like this isn't around, that's fine. Shut it down. Let them camp out on the sidewalks. Let them sleep in the doorways, you know, let them crash by these people's garages in their alleys and stuff like that, and see how the people like that. So as far as the city fathers go, more power to you. If you win, you're still wrong.
The lawsuit currently sits at the district courthouse as the city says the church is in violation of municipal codes in that it's acting as a campground. Quick doesn't see it that way.
Instead of just talking the talk, they're walking the walk. And that's hard to find these days.
Ross tells me he's working on getting a job so he can help people in his shoes with resources instead of just advice. And if you scan the QR codes you see on the bottom of your screens, you'll find a link to all of the stories I've done surrounding the church, its neighborhood, and the homeless situation here, as well as all of the resources we've used to tell you this story. In Great Falls, I'm Joey Taylor, Montana Right Now.
That's a story we've been following for months now, the homeless encampment on the property of First United Methodist Church in downtown Great Falls. Our Joey Taylor joins us with the latest details about what's going on there. Joey?
August 1st, 2022, the day many calling the church parking lot home were told to leave.
Now they don't have any place to go to. So there's going to be more people that's outside your house on your sidewalk, that's parked 10 feet away from the front door of your business.
The church sits downtown, and they started allowing people experiencing homelessness to stay on their property last year. However, as the population staying at the church grew, so did crime, and tents started popping up, which violated city zoning codes. In turn, a lawsuit was filed against the church, and after speaking with the church's attorney to address the issues, in a city commission meeting, City Attorney Jeff Hindoin said if they removed the encampment, it would remove the need for the lawsuit.
Our job here at the church isn't going away. It's maybe shifting gears, but we're still going to be an advocate for the homeless in our community, for the people who are unhoused. We're going to work with the new nonprofit, Housed Great Falls, and we're going to support them in whatever ways that they envision what sheltering can look like for low barrier situations in Great Falls.
Quick tells me with this encampment gone, he doesn't have a plan for where he's going to go, and it's the same story for a lot of folks.
All I've been hearing is, well, I'll just go find another place to sleep. You know, I haven't talked to anybody that has, well, maybe one person that has an actual plan. He's got a friend that's got a place he can go to.
Please tell me, since the start of 2022, GFPD has responded to 164 calls for service to the church, and Chief Newton says people are congregating with those who live in the encampment, and they've seen an increase in those resisting arrest.
I've talked to a number of people that are even residents of the camp that are happy that we're doing this to enforce it, because there's been a lot of problems even amongst the people living here on the property.
While this was an emotional day for many, the church says they will continue to do what they can for the community.
So our church continues to do a lunch Monday through Friday from 10 to noon and a hot meal on Tuesday nights.
While this is the end of the encampment, that doesn't mean we're going to stop following the homeless situation happening in the Electric City. If you go to Color8 or MontanaRightNow.com, you'll find conversations I've had with the church, businesses, the city, and even those who've stayed on church property. In Great Falls, I'm Joey Taylor, Montana Right Now.
All right, Joey, thank you very much.
And for more than a year, churches, businesses, and the Great Falls community have been at odds over how to help the homeless population downtown. To help alleviate the problem, the First United Methodist Church allowed the unhoused to stay on their property last winter.
Well, the homeless encampment was removed in August after the city filed a lawsuit against the church. And with winter settling in, the issue has once again surfaced as the unhoused have started gathering on church property.
And the church has asked the Great Falls Police Department for help. So our Joey Taylor had the chance to talk with both the GFPD and the church about their plans moving forward, and she joins us now in Great Falls.
Right now, there are 2 action steps both the church and the police department are taking to address the homeless issue, like them staying on church property. You can see items left behind here before they face harsher punishments.
We've seen is an increase in calls for service on the church property, an increase in arrests, and an increase in citations. And that was one of the things that I visited with Reverend Scarrett about, and we decided that there would be we could come up with a collaborative solution to try and keep those numbers from growing.
No trespassing signs are now posted at the First United Methodist Church downtown, and the church is partnering with the police department to help enforce those signs. They also will be connecting unhoused people with other organizations who focus on helping the homeless population.
A lot of times when I talk to my parishioners, I talk about how we can be the hands and feet of Jesus. But really, our church has been the eyes and ears and Sacred Heart of Jesus in many ways. And we've seen and we've heard things that are gaps in services.
Both GFPD and the church have said they understand criminal enforcement is not the way to address the homelessness issue. However, their goal right now is to remove those who have no interest in the church or the services that they offer. I'm Joey Taylor, Nonstop Local.
Joey, thank you.